Yes, and. Oh boy, what a day. What a piece of news.
So I know talking about this usually means YouTube is instantly like, did you say those names?
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that? Yeah. Normally we use the fancy mics for a video like this, but the mics aren't working. But I really want to talk about this. And if it gets a yellow dollar bill, it gets a yellow dollar bill. Remove, we'll say what everyone else says, AH from, even though it's in the title and tags in the description box, remove AH from Aquaman 2 petition has over 1 million signatures. Now, if you saw the video where we talked about Johnny Depp being fired from Fantastic Beasts 3, and whoever wants to be like, he wasn't fired, he resigned. Guys, come on, get real.
If he
what else would it have been?
Acquiesce to their request,
it's a nice,
he would have been
the most
fired.
polite way of getting fired.
They paid him so much money to break this contract.
Yeah, you gotta.
He got all the money he would have made.
He's got to worry. He's got to worry about long-term repercussions. He's got the fan base support, and also he got a crap ton of money for a day work. You know,
yeah. He could probably go star in a Harry Potter fan film now.
But I did say in that video that I like pretty early on in it that I think AH should be let go, and I thought about it more, and it makes sense kind of why she wouldn't be, you know, because she has the victim title right now. Also, she's not only in Aquaman 2, she's also in the Snyder Cut. You know,
yes.
Like, man, there's just so much.
We're already so invested. She's already such a big part of this.
But you know what? There's something I did want to clarify, because someone asked, we shot that video on a day where I was just like really kind of out of it. There's something I did want to clarify, and someone asked a question, and I decided to reply to it, and I pinned it, and I just want to make this clear. So it's kind of a long thing I want to read off. Some people wanted me to clarify a little bit of my stance on the matter with JD. Here's what I said. Someone said, I'm confused, but you kept saying he was at fault too. Can you clarify exactly what did he do? I gave a pretty lengthy reply. That's fair. Thanks for asking. I'm not sure if I actually did say he was at fault too. However, I can see why you phrased your question that way, so I'll clarify. What I wanted to do is really encourage people to fully research it, because like I said in the video, there's a lot, and many things revealed before the trial even took place. Documents, audio, etc. In my opinion, solely based off everything I've read and listened to this year, for lack of a better term, they had a toxic relationship. Not saying it's healthy or okay. However, it's common that in toxic relationships, both parties are emotionally and verbally abusive to one another, which I think is the case with them. Some people want to say that that's not the case. That's just where I stand on that matter, all right? However, I don't think that equates to Johnny is abuser and Amber is victim. It's an abusive relationship. There's a difference. Secondly, I especially don't think he was, in fact, a wife beater. So I said this, I'll share with you where I stand, but first I'll reiterate. I, along with the majority of the world, have you read this yet? And people taking stances weren't at the trial. So while I've read and listened to so much this year, I'm sure there's still many things I haven't gotten around to. Not saying I think my conclusion on the matter is correct or incorrect, just saying this is where I've landed. If truly damning evidence comes out for the public to access that can convince me otherwise, then so be it. Right now, here's my personal take. There's a lot of, and this is true, I mean, there's many channels you can go to. I think the top one I would recommend is Incredibly Average, where there's a lot of just raw, full-on, not like a clip or something. It's a long
extended
conversations, and then even the depositions and stuff. There's a lot of evidence backed with witnesses, testimonies, etc., that strongly suggests Amber Heard lied about physically assaulted incidences. It seems evident she was no saint. There's audio where she admits that she'll start attacking, hitting, throwing pots, vases, physically abusing him for really no justifiable reason such as defense. That's just one example. To sum it up, the court ruled in favor of the son, labeled him as a wife beater. Essentially, they agreed, right? With everything that I've been able to read and listen to, I came to the conclusion that I don't believe he was, and that Heard lied, faked, manipulated the narrative heavily to paint him as a physical, abusive, uncontrollable tyrant towards her, when there's much more to suggest in reality, she was a dominant physical aggressor, instigator in the relationship. Again, audio admission. That is my stance on the matter. Like I said, wasn't at the trial, so I can't say, here's everything that was presented. Perhaps there is much more to the story revealed at the trial that we just don't know yet. Right now, from the info that I've come across, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I just want to make that point clear. I spent a lot of this video clarifying that, but I did think that when I was watching back, I was like, man, that is a good comment, because I did not clarify fully where I was at. And I didn't write that today and then film this video. I wrote that back that day.
We made this video so that he could write the comment and share it with you here and create a false narrative that it existed previously.
Here we're at. All right, here's what the petition says. Amber Heard has been exposed as a domestic abuser by Johnny Depp, states the petition. In his $50 million lawsuit, Johnny Depp describes many incidents of domestic abuse that he suffered at the hands of his then wife, including one incident where she punched him twice in the face, another where she shattered his finger with a vodka bottle, and his finger had to be surgically reattached. He will bear the scar from that for the rest of his life. Depp lost a defamation lawsuit, as we all know. The petition continues. Also, Amber Heard was arrested in 2009 for, she was arrested for abuse in 2009. It's a different thing. It's a different relationship. I think there's some reason to factor it in, though. Yeah, I will say there's some reason.
It's part of
history.
A whole picture.
Yeah.
Yes, it is part of a whole picture.
Since Heard's divorce from Johnny Depp, she has systematically crusaded to ruin Depp in Hollywood, repeating multiple accounts of fake incidences when she actually abused Johnny. I've failed my rule. I've been saying the names, but I didn't create false accounts of him being an abuser.
We can just go back and put Voldemort over them both.
About the incident during which he shattered the bones in Johnny Depp's finger and nearly severed it, causing Depp to require surgery to reattach and repair it. Heard presented a false story claiming that he cut off his finger himself, dipped it in paint, and scrawled obscenities all over the wall.
Wow. That's a claim.
So basically, with it concluding, I'm kind of speeding through some of this. They must not ignore the suffering of Heard's victims and must not glamorize a domestic abuser. Men are victims of domestic abuse, just like women. This must be recognized, and action must be taken to prevent a known abuser from being celebrated within the entertainment industry. Oh, wow. And it's got over 1 million signatures.
That's the big
big
factor there is a lot. I've heard about a lot of petitions getting hundreds of thousands of signatures, but to reach that milli that fast.
I mean, guys, Warner Brothers, just from a PR standpoint, Fantastic Beasts is one of the most fascinating subjects to me right now because, like, Mads Mikkelsen being hired for it, possibly
Amber Heard's gonna play Grindelwald. Just switch them around.
I'm just saying that for Fantastic Beasts, you got Ezra in there. You have the whole Johnny Depp situation. You got J.K. Rowling, and that's a Warner Brothers movie. And then Warner Brothers is also having to deal with.
Oh golly.
They got the Snyder Cut coming out, and then in the Snyder Cut, they got Ray Fisher going to war with them, and Ezra Miller's in there, and Amber Heard's in there.
To have a relationship with an actor if you're Warner.
It's not. It's like they're in a lot of troubled waters. Clearly, this Amber Heard thing is gonna be a detriment. And I used to kind of gawk at, petitions. I still think a lot of them are silly when it comes to movies. Seeing that sometimes these petitions, Snyder Cut is a perfect example. These petitions can sometimes have weight, and I think that is. They've been demanding this for a while.
Well, and this is very different from a sort of like, I don't like Game of Thrones season 8. It could have been better.
Reshoot it. Yeah.
Redo it. This is like, hey, we're dealing with like real life circumstances and also the law, and this decision doesn't seem to reflect the entirety of the scenario as we were talking about a minute ago. So it then makes me cynically go, well, I guess they can afford to pay Johnny Depp to leave, but they have Amber Heard just tied up in way too many properties with way too much money on the line in all different stages of development.
I'd be more distracted by her than I would Ezra Miller.
Well, yeah, because now we just live in the universe where he exists and we're never gonna
who is honestly gonna just watch her? I don't understand how you can possibly.
This is such a weird position for them to be in. Because,
there's people who don't follow it, but still.
The element of you have the ruling in the Sun case, and so now they also have this meta layer of like, well, in certain people's eyes, then we would just be like, like abandoning our victim. And that is... I don't know what WB is going to do, and part of me feels like if they were to remove her, people would probably move past it relatively quickly.
I think they move past that way quicker.
And it would become just like, it'll become like a slightly more notable version of like when Katie Holmes got replaced with Maggie Gyllenhaal. Like, people will have an opinion about which one they liked better, but ultimately it won't be that big of a deal.
There was way less reasons to remove Katie Holmes than there is to remove Amber Heard. There's way less.
Yeah.
Do it. Also, you know, Amber Heard, I suppose, is a decent actress. I've never been like, wow, she transforms, you know? I don't think she's like that caliber of talent. I just think it won't be a big deal. And if anything, you just have a really bad spotlight, and people, I don't think people are just gonna let this go right away. I think they'll start filming Aquaman 2, and I think once the trailer comes out, I just think that this fire will burn for a while.
It'll burn.
A while.
They'll bring Johnny Depp back. They'll get rid of Amber. It'll be James Gunn and everybody else. It'll be a weird Frankenstein monster of responses, and whatever's happening right now, yeah, I doubt is the conclusion of this.
Anyway, guys,
Did you sign?
did you sign? Let me know. Subscribe. Click that notification bell. See you guys soon.